Hi everyone, my name is Annie and I'm joined here by Nisreen, Tatiana, and Freda. Together we bring to you Pgb-Vsu, which stands for Polyphonic Gameboard Virtual Sampling Unit. It's an interactive web-based application where you can sequence audio and visualize music. When the user enters our application, they're invited to a three-dimensional environment where they can create music. They have the ability to select on a collection of different samples, and they have the ability to edit it in many different ways. If the user places it along the y-axis, they can produce a different pitch, and they're also able to delete the samples, drag and drop to a different location, and they can also save the patterns for later use. We also really wanted to take advantage of this three-dimensional environment where you can pan in and out of the space, zoom, and they can also orbit completely around the patterns. So before I pass it off to Niz, I'm going to be loading a pattern, and I hope you enjoy the music.
In order to create this project, we needed to integrate several different libraries as seamlessly as possible. One of the main challenges of this process was evaluating the fit and potential of these libraries, some of which were new and untested. For our front end, we decided to use React and React-Redux, and to render our 3D elements through React, we used a small library called React-Threejs. To render audio, we tried some React web audio plugins before deciding to use the library tone.js. And our backend is made up of Express, Firebase, and Node. We chose to use Firebase because it's a lightweight database that allows us to update our Redux state in real time.
So we wanted to use WebGL in a very React way, and we found React-Threejs, which provided a great basis for the integration. However, it wasn't necessarily complete, the library, since it was only created by a single author in the last year. We ended up importing most of the code, making substantial changes to it, and are planning on making pull requests to improve the library. Some of the challenges that came with working with 3D graphics and React were having to implement a lot of basic functionality that is usually provided for us. In just a sec, you'll see an example of this. This is an example of an issue. The object is supposed to be under the mouse. So hit testing was something we needed to handle. We had to pipe all mouse events through the three.js renderer and use a raycaster to see which objects were being intersected.
For audio, we used tone.js. Tone.js gives us callback functions, and we created methods to use with those in order to be able to schedule sound out of order for a dynamically changing music composition. We used React lifecycle components to be able to control updates on the page, and React-Redux to store information about related sound and object data. Some very exciting news is that the creator of the tone.js library will be featuring our app as one of the demos for the API. And to conclude, Pgb-Vsu is a unique tool that has many applications for entertainment, performance, and education. We chose samples. We chose to use samples instead of synthesized sounds to give users an immediacy when they're using the product, even if they know very little about the technicalities of sound synthesis. And with some further investment, we can see Pgb being used by musicians and artists to create polished demonstrations of their work. And for beginners, the visual component is very stimulating, which makes making music approachable and fun. So thank you so much for listening. You can check out our site at pgb-vsu.club.